Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have to take a deep breath, y'all, because when I tell you there have been so many messages that have come through, that it started to feel chaotic in my energy, because I felt like I was being pulled. And that's very much actually what it is being pulled in different directions, because it feels the integration, right, of ideals, timelines, the integration of these things is felt, right, on an energetic level, and it's seen on a physical level. And so, I just follow me, y'all. Just follow me, because I know it's a lot. But I want to make sure that I'm giving you all the information and delivering these messages that I'm receiving, so that it helps whoever it is that is supposed to receive these messages, right? So if this is your first time coming across this channel or any of my platforms that I post this, my name is Tisha, and you can find me at consciouscreations.live on YouTube. Consciouscreations.live is my website. That's the website that I create natural products using things like horseweed, right? Oak, whatever the case, right? Using nature to create, holistic products for the mind, body, and spirit. So you can get those things at consciouscreations.live. I also do soul coaching and life coaching, if you may. I think that's the best way to describe it, at www.thetishahillman.com, and that's TISHAHILLMAN. But it's hard for me to sum up who I am in a title. I just am. I am that I am. And so I am grateful to be able to share with you all that I am, right? All that I am, right? So yeah, and I listen, y'all, it's really because I'm feeling, like I said, I'm trying to give you this information, trying to stay focused on what it is that I'm here to deliver to you all. But it's I feel it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel it. And if you all are feeling this too, then you probably resonate with what it is that I'm saying. But so it's a lot of different energies that I'm picking up. And one of the things that I was telling folks earlier today is over the last couple of days. So if you're seeing this video is being recorded on Sunday, August 3rd, 2025. Right? The moon is, I believe, the moon is in Sagittarius at this point. The last couple of days, the moon has been in Scorpio. And today, when I got up, I was very much feeling that scorpionic energy, right? So and the first thing that I wrote in my meditation was, this is a sacral chakra reset, right? So if you are not familiar with the sacral chakra, it's one of the energy centers that is in your body. So if you think of your body and your nervous system, I know you've heard a lot of people talk over the last couple of years about the nervous system and dysregulation of the nervous system and, things like that. But the sacral chakra is a part of the body that governs the reproductive area. And all of the planets that we think of as external to us are also internal to us. And so the energy of Scorpio it's in alignment with the energy of, like I said, reproduction, but it's governing or ruling planet is traditionally Mars, and also Pluto. So they're both, it just depends on, what you're reading and who you're talking to. But either way, it's very intense energy, because the energy of Mars being the planet of war, right? So how you fight, it's the way that you show up in the world in terms of how you fight. And that Pluto energy is the energy of transformation, death, rebirth, right? So it's that energy. It's not just necessarily sheer destruction, but it's destruction for the purpose of, creation. Do you see what I'm saying? And so when you feel, so the energy can feel very disruptive because it is an energy of destruction for the purpose of recreation and regeneration. Now, one of the things that has been coming up, and one of the things that has been coming up is that energy of regeneration, reconfiguration, reset, right? Rebirth. All of that is that scorpionic transformation Pluto energy. And it was 555 on the clock when I just said that. Now, again, we're really talking about the energy of change, right? And so what I'm picking up is the creative energy, particularly by those melanated beings. And the reason I'm saying that is because it's the melanated beings that have the ability to create from source material. You understand what I'm saying? That natural neuromelanin, melanin, child, outside bugs. But anyway, we move forward. So, the melanated beings being able to tap in on deeper levels to this energy is important, right? Because you may feel this energy, because your energy, a lot of times melanated beings and other beings as well, right? But particularly because of the connection to source that melanated beings have, right? Because this planet is a melanated planet. Like if you look at the trees, look at the color and everything, right? It's melanated. It's that melanin that gives things. It's that carbon that gives it the color. You understand? So the energy of the melanated beings has been used to create realities that are less beneficial to melanated beings, right? And this is what the country of America is experiencing, because there's been so much that has been done to oppress, suppress, and depress the energy of melanated beings in particular. This is why you're seeing this destruction, right? In terms of these systems and things like that, because of the way that they have used source material. You understand? Source encoded beings, divine beings. And so there is a rebirth and regeneration that is happening, and is being felt not only in the root chakra, that foundational level. So you may be feeling like if you were someone who, when you incarnated, you were feeling a whole bunch of root chakra issues, like at the base level, your foundation, right? Your family imprinting, things like that. That would be the root, like the root of a tree. So if you think about yourself as a tree, and your body and all of your nerves as the tree of life, right? Then it's easier to understand conceptually. So you may have felt this in your lower back, or have people in your family that have lower back issues. And it's because, when a lot of beings, when they incarnated into the third dimension, they descended from on high. You understand? And that descension created a situation where your internal library, your spinal cord, may have taken some sort of damage from the fall, if you understand what I'm saying, right? And so it could be, shout out to the ancestors in the wind, right? Right? So if that's for you, that's for you, right? And if that is for you, some of the ways that you can work with and strengthen your root chakra energy is consuming root vegetables. This would be things like beets, potatoes, things that grow in the soil, like, you know what I mean? Things like that. And when I say grow in the soil, I mean like you don't actually see what's happening. Ginger, turmeric, right? Things like that. Those are roots. And those are the sorts of things that will help to balance out this energy and to get you in alignment so that you can actually receive the healing codes that will come through, you know, the different planetary bodies, including the sun, right? The sun being an illuminator, a luminary body, as well as the moon. They're both luminary bodies. So the sun, of course, lights the day and the moon lights the night. And so it is that balancing of the light and the dark, the yin, the yang, the masculine, the feminine, the internal, the external, the as above, the so below. You see what I'm saying? It's that delicate dance. And I'm sitting on my exercise ball, so that's why you see me like bouncing up and down. But it's the balance of those energies that is so key right now, because as these energies are shifting and are balancing, you may be feeling a little bit unsteady. Like I spoke to some folks today. Shout out to Solara. Happy birthday again, girl. Check her out, y'all. Solara Speaks and Solara Rises, because she does both on YouTube, and she's really dope. But yeah, so when bringing those energies into balance, you know, each world that is impacted, because we're connected, right? And each one of these worlds, as they come together to create a more perfect union, right? That is what is happening. But but everyone is feeling it, but feeling it in different ways. So I hope that this reaches you before you crash out. Hopefully you don't crash out. Hopefully you ground yourself, and you're able to receive the codes that are coming to you during this time, during these transmissions, to help you on your journey. Okay. So you may also be feeling it in the sacral chakra. Now, one of the things that I'm seeing is with the energy of the sacral chakra, if you are feeling the pull, right, regarding creativity, creation, sexual reproduction, right, things like that, even being pulled in terms of your relationships, that is that sacral energy, that reproductive energy, that desire to be able to procreate with another, or just to, you know, to procreate, to regenerate yourself, right? You may be feeling some of this energy. Now, again, balance. It's all about the balance. So to get yourself into balance with these things, one of the things that is available actually on the Conscious Creations website is our black it's our black seed oil with gold particulates, right? And it's called Black AU, because AU is the atomic symbol for gold. Black AU AF. So that's available on the website. Now, the reason I'm saying that is this. One of the things that has happened is that, because specifically the feminine energy, because the feminine being a portal, thank you for that confirmation, right? The feminine being the portal, the portal of creation in terms of birthing life into the physical reality. There has been so much done, y'all, to oppress the feminine energy, to oppress the maternal energy on this planet, to disconnect people literally from Mother Earth by having people, you know, in these different states of consciousness and states of mind where they don't feel connected at all to the very earth that sustains life, sustains them, food, you know, everything, right? Healing, everything. But people have intentionally been disconnected from this energy so that you don't feel like you can go to the mother. You actually feel anger, maybe, toward the mother. You know what I mean? Maybe it came through your own mother, right? The portal that you actually came through. Do you see what I'm saying? But this is why healing those energies are so important, because it's energy. Now, again, I understand that your mother is a physical being, right? But what I'm saying is that maternal energy, that ability to receive. A lot of people were disconnected from their ability to receive and just taught to give, but not actually make room to receive. And that is actually how a lot of the feminine energy on the planet was distorted, because, you know, women were pulled outside of themselves from learning to how to nurture, nourish, care for themselves, right? And because that was non-existent, it created an internal insecurity as opposed to being internally secure. You see the play on words? It made you internally insecure versus internally secure, right? Because once you are internally secure, you realize that your wealth and your revenue is internal, right? And all of these things that you are, you embody, embody, and you embody. It's inside you. It's in you already. And you are simply projecting out what you actually are. You understand? And so when you pull someone outside of themselves and they are literally beside themselves, meaning that they have to be outside of themselves to be beside themselves, right? When you start acting outside of yourself and beside yourself, you're not seeing yourself from that internal perspective, but you're seeing yourself from an external. You see what I'm saying? Like you're looking out, you're outside of yourself, looking inside of looking at yourself, but you're not embodying yourself. Like you are not in your body. You understand what I'm saying? And all of these things have created opportunities for division, right? Within the self and within the cells, right? And now the cells are going to divide, to recreate, to reproduce, all of these things. But there is one thing, and I know this is about to get real deep, y'all, but let me stay here for a second. It's important to heal on a cellular level. This is why I mentioned the black seed oil, because black seed oil has the ability to regenerate your cells. In particular, the mitochondria and the mitochondrial DNA. The mitochondria comes from the mother line, and it is the energy storehouse for your cells, right? So when your cells have the necessary energy and the nutrients and everything that it needs, it is then able to survive and to thrive. But when your cells and when your cells are not properly nourished, properly, hydrated, all of these things, it causes damage, right? Because your body is 70% water. So your body needs that internal moisture, the internal nutrients, that internal mothering, that water flowing energy. You need that. That is your emotional center. So you need that. And so when external happenings are able to pull you out of your emotional center, it then has the ability to drain you emotionally, because you are responding from your internal perspective. You're responding and giving that energy, that emotional energy, to something external to you, thereby producing emotional labor. So then when you feel emotionally depleted, and yet you don't have a power source to connect into, right? Because if you're disconnected from the planet, you're disconnected from Earth, you're disconnected from your emotions. Do you know what I mean? If you are disconnected from source, which is you, and source, you know what I mean? If you are disconnected from source, then you don't actually have a way to replenish that. And now what's happening is you are walking around depleted because you've given your energy to something outside of you. And I want to be very, this is not to say don't have emotions. That's not what this is. But what it is to say is to really learn to trust your intuition again. Because one of the things that I realized is that was one of the things for me that I really had to learn how to recalibrate. And part of that came from reconnecting to the earth, exactly what I'm telling you all to do. Because I realized that I had lost touch with my own internal GPS, my own internal guidance system, that is my intuition, right? The tuition that I'd paid along the way, right? During this earth school. Right? So those lessons that I learned, the things that I learned, all of that, if you're not following that internal guidance system, then it's almost as if you'd gone through school and never actually learned anything. Right? And so we've all been there. I know I certainly have, right? Having to repeat lessons again and again until I started seeing the pattern and realized, oh, I see what's happening now. And this is why I'm sharing this information with you all, because if I can help someone from repeating a lesson that was very difficult for them, and if they don't have to repeat it, then I've done something, right? And so the sacral energy, the reproductive, the creative energy on this planet is being reset, restored, right, to her original settings. Now, the reason that is necessary is because the earth herself, right, has been raped of resources, pillaged, plundered, disrespected, right, all sorts of ways, and that reflects in the ways that her daughters and her sons see themselves and see one another, right? All of that is as a result of raping and pillaging the mother or the daughter earth, right? And so those codes, those sacral codes are being reset. And so what that means is those beings who were able, you now are able to tap in and reclaim your own energy codes for your own creativity, so that you can truly be a conscious creator, the conscious creator of your reality. Do you understand what I'm saying? And if you know, you know. So, but yeah, so some of the things that you can do to get back into alignment with the sacral energy is, one, go outside. Go outside. The moon is in Leo, so it's very powerful, divine source codes that are coming through. So this is this whole window of time is a window of opportunity. It's a window that allows you to really reconnect with your divine solar codes, right? And so as you do that, it literally awakens the dormant DNA that may have been turned off due to whatever, abuse, trauma, neglect, any number of things, right? So it allows you to tap in again to those solar codes. That is that masculine energy. So, right. So the solar codes that giving is given, right? It's given. So to be able to tap into those divine solar codes that will allow you to breathe in, and allow your DNA to actually receive the codes that are necessary for you and for your ascension, your evolution, your expansion, for your next, soul journey, whatever the case may be for you, right? And so some of the things that you're going to start to see is you're going to start to see and to experience healing on a cellular level like you've never seen before. And people, they're not going to be able to explain it and all of these things, but I'm telling you, this is what's happening, right? And like I said, one of the ways that I've been able to do this and to help with my own stuff is exactly what it is that I'm telling y'all. So if you've been following Conscious Creations via my Instagram channel, anything, right? YouTube, whatever, you've seen this journey for the last 5 years, because this month, would make 5 years. I started Conscious Creations in August of 2020. So it's now been 5 years that I started this journey creating these products because I was guided to, I was led to do this by my own soul, by my own higher self was guiding me to create these products, to do these things, to share my journey with you all by way of products, right? And so when I created a product called My Revenue is Internal, I did so consciously and intentionally because that's what I was experiencing. I was experiencing this inner knowing that abundance is my birthright. That's a whole nother product. But I needed to reconnect to my own abundance codes because I recognized that there was so much there. And I'm sure that if you're connecting with this, you felt it too. There was so much to that I feel like it was constantly going up against this resistance every time I wanted to expand or to grow or to have more money, to have more resources, any of these things. There was something that just kept coming that would bring me down to nothing again and again and again and again, or attempt to bring me to nothing. You understand what I'm saying? And one of the things, and during that process is when I started really studying about these blockages and started really delving into the lymphatic system and started learning myself. And the more I learned myself and learned my cells, I started sharing these things with other folks because I started to see these patterns that were not just happening within me, but the things that were also happening with other people. And so creating this lymphatic drainage massage oil really helped me to be able to do exactly that, to cleanse and to flush out those toxins within the lymphatic system that were then blocking and I don't want to use the word blocking. What I think is more appropriate to say in this particular situation is they allowed for the letting go, right, of the stagnancy that had accumulated in my energy field, that had manifested as a physical reaction by way of my lymphatic system and looking like toxic buildup in the lymphatic areas, which are around your neck area, under your arms, in your breast tissue, behind your knees. You see what I'm saying? So in being able to flush out that energy, that helped help things to recirculate, help that energy again to flow again, right? To flow again, thereby allowing those toxins, any of the toxic buildup, to be released. Because what happens is this, and I'll get to, and I know it's so much, y'all, so bear with me. And I do have a bear with me. He's just inside. But anyway, I saw a post that said that, like, you want people to bear with you and you don't even have a bear with you. I thought that was funny. But anyway, so in being able to flush that out, you're allowing not only the energy to recirculate, to flow again, that allows, energy that you may have not have had room to receive. That allows that to come in, right? So what happens is, like I said, these energy harvesting events and things like that happen. And they happen because people are unaware that they're actually being harvested for their energy. It's sort of like fattening up a cow or an animal before you slaughter it and drain all its life force. Right? That's really what it is. That's why I said, I feel like these highs and then just down to nothing. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you're allowed to get to a certain point before it's all taken from you all over again, until it's not, right? That's why you're here, because you are here because either you've broken that cycle or you're being called to break that cycle. Right? A lot of you have been doing this generational healing work over the last few years. And now what happens once you've healed? Now it's time to actually step out and be the you that you've been creating, this you that you have been working to be. Now it's time that you actually step out into that leadership and you actually be who you be. You understand? So, really building up your energetic field so as to make yourself uninhabitable for these energies that would seek to come in and to deplete you of your energy, right? And so when you are walking in your divine essence and you are cultivating that energy with consistency and the discipline of Saturn, right? That discipline, when you are bringing in that level of discipline within yourself, that makes it so that these energies you repel, right? Even though black of itself it absorbs. Come on now. all kind of things happening, right? But the black itself absorbs. It absorbs. But it also acts as a repellent, right? So if you've ever worked with black crystals like black tourmaline, jet, obsidian, Apache tears, tektites, any of these things, you know that it's very potent, powerful energy. It's the energy that corresponds with Saturn, right? It is that energy of that planetary, that disciplinarian, that energy, right? And so I look at Saturn as this, yeah, it just is, right? It just is. I look at it as this energy, this vast energy of the all, right? It is the all. You understand? So I don't look at it, I understand most people look at it as a malevolent planet, meaning quote unquote bad from a human perspective. But I don't necessarily look at it as bad per se. I think, when I look at these things, it is what it is. It's balance. It gives balance. You understand what I'm saying? It's balance. And that see, y'all, it's so much. It's so much. And because Saturn is the planet that is governing the month of August, you may feel a lot of this Saturn disciplinarian, karmic, rebalancing the scales. You may feel a lot of that energy coming up right now because it is a Saturnian month, right? One of the things that you want to do is to bring yourself in alignment. So if there are areas in your life that you're being called to show more discipline, more restraint, do that, right? Like for me, one of the things that I decided to do is, whatever I can do towards my goals, I'm going to do a little bit every day. I'm going to do as much as I won't even say a little bit, because it is what it is. Like some days I feel like doing more than other days, right? But one of the, when I first moved here, y'all, I moved and I unpacked, because it was just me, right? So I unpacked my whole house, painted, did everything by myself within like a couple of days. And each time I move, I've done that. And it's usually been me by myself doing all of these things. And then afterwards, I have to take days to recover because I've overdone it, right? So some of you may be called to do more. Others may be called to do less, right? My friends are here, y'all. So it's these, I know, right? So it's these vultures that are in the tree. So maybe like a year or two ago, like I don't know if I probably made a video. I know I did make a video about it, but they were like hundreds of them in the trees in my neighborhood. And so, hundreds of them. And that's when I first really connected to this vulture spirit and the vulture energy. So the fact that I'm here talking about Saturn and these black vultures just come up, it is what it is, y'all. But again, it's this transformation, this rebirth, right? Because even with vultures, I used to have a fear of vultures because they're freakishly large, right? And the fact that they eat flesh, right? They eat dead flesh. But one of the things that I realized that from even connecting with this vulture energy, one, I had to overcome my fear of them and to realize they have this energy of the Great Mother. And the wind just started blowing when I said that again, right? But they carry this energy of the Great Mother, because the vulture is the only animal that has the stomach. Literally, their stomach has been designed by the Creator to do what it does. It is nature's cleanup crew, right? Now, I don't know most men that are going to come and just to clean up a whole bunch of things. No, that's usually what the women do. The women usually are the cleanup crew, right? So when I look at the energy of the vulture, I look at the energy of the vulture like the energy of the Great Mother. Sometimes sometimes you get a whipping when you come home and your house and the house ain't clean, or what you were supposed to, it's not done, whatever the case may be. Sometimes that happens, but it's not because your mother hates you, right? It's not because she hates you. It's actually now again, child, if you traumatized by your mother and got mother wounds, please go heal that. Go heal that, baby. This is the comment section is not the place for all of that, right? And I'm sorry for those of you who have experienced these parental issues. I've too have had to overcome, issues with a parent, but for me, it was my father. So I get it, right? So all I'm saying to you is please heal. Heal, that is important, okay? So the energy of the vulture just reminds me of that, because the vulture is going to go out and she is going to eat the things that the other animals are not going to eat. But if the vulture did not clean up, then it would be carcasses everywhere, right? It would just be a whole bunch of funk everywhere because nobody's there to clean it up. And truth be told, that is what's happened a lot on the planet, right? That's happened a lot. There have been beings that have created so much destruction and death in their that's what they've done, right? And the Great Mother has returned to clean that shit up. It is what it is, right? And so you'll start to see these changes, right? You'll start to see these changes rolling out. You'll start to see, you'll start to see these things play out on a larger scale. So what I can say to you all that are listening here, that have found yourself in alignment and resonating with this, is to do the shadow work, right? And what I mean by that is those things that you have not yet healed, not yet addressed specifically, because healing sometimes, it is a process, right? So those things that you have not yet address those things, right? Feel those things to heal those things, right? And there's so many people on YouTube, so many great people that are really out here doing the work, and they're sharing their journeys with you all and sharing tools along the way to help folks with their journeys. Again, so like I said, when it comes to the things that I've created, I create, in addition to the coaching sessions and things like that, I also create actual products. So one of the things that for me that I realized, and those of you who have heavy Virgo placements, this may resonate with you in particular. Virgo and also Pisces, because they're sister signs. So this may resonate with you. But one of the things about this Virgo energy, because Virgo deals a lot with the processing, right? So the Virgo, and also Gemini to a certain extent, because Gemini deals with that mental process, but Virgo deals with that digestive process. So what you're receiving, you have to be able to digest that information, right? That's that Virgonian energy. That deals a lot with the digestive system. And a lot of times, like we said, with the mitochondrial energy, when the cells themselves have taken damage, you have to repair the cells. And that's on a mitochondrial level to make sure that the energy is flowing through your body, through your nervous system, through your cells, the way that it needs to, and actually in order to actually heal you. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, some of the ways that you can do that is also with your food. I was talking to folks today about string theory. Now, for all of you astrophysicists out there, yes, that, but also this. That would be learning a stringed instrument, right? Because some folks work better by hearing, right? So dealing with a string instrument, that's going to help you to learn how to play your instrument, because you have all of these strings or nerves flowing through your body. So it may be important for you to tap in on, on that level. For those of you who are more intellectual, right? And that's not, it is what it is, y'all. So those of you who connect with energy more so on a scientific scientific and intellectual level, look at string theory, right? From the I don't know all of these terms. This is just what came to me, right? Looking at it from that perspective, that scientific perspective. For those of you who resonate on the health level, those of you who are into like health and fitness and really working on that and connect on that level, look at fruit and vegetables that have strings in them, like mangoes and celery. Now, I know that there are others, but that's what's coming to me because that's what I had recently. But connecting on those levels, because these are all things that are going to help to heal and to reprogram the mitochondrial DNA within your body so that your cells can heal themselves and work properly. As you connect to the earth then starts to heal you, but it's as within, so without, as without, so within, right? So these are some of the things. Actually, I actually like to sweat, y'all, because I am who I am. I'm a summer baby born in Florida, so it is what it is. But yeah, and it's so healing because it allows my cells to actually expel things, right? Yeah, I know that I've said a lot. I've said a lot, y'all. What else? Life path number 7. I'm going to do a video about that because that's something that came up also today. So if your birthday is on the 7th, if you are 34 or 43, 25, your birthday adds up to, the days of your birthday add up to a 7, right? Like 25, 30, not 34, but if you are 43 or 34, you know what I mean? Those types of things add up to a 7. Or your life path number is 7, your personal number is 7, but you are resonating with the number 7, then this message is specifically for you. We will do a whole nother build on life path number 7 because your energy is so important. Everybody's, everyone who's adding to the energy of the collective in a way to actually help the collective of humanity to evolve is obviously very helpful. Even those people that are not, because that resistance is actually helping to develop a muscle so that you can then overcome, to have the strength and the what you need to overcome, right? But specifically for number 7s, one of the things that is important for you right now is to focus on your crown chakra. So you may be experiencing headaches, right? Because when you look at the basic chakra system, we are talking about the crown or the head, right? So getting into, come on now. And then 2020 was the year of Corona, right? So we're talking fire, right? We're talking that energy again, but from a different perspective this time, right? This is from the perspective of now you know who you are, right? Now you know who you are. So what you're going to do is you're really going to hone in on doing energy with your crown chakra and balancing all of the chakras from the base all the way to the crown and beyond, right? So this is going to be important because we're literally resetting the consciousness, the collective consciousness. And some of you are brilliant strategists, brilliant intellectuals, right? We need your crown. We need your intellect. We need your genius that flows through your mind, right? That flows through your connection with the divine, your divine higher self, right? We need that energy for the collective, right? And I'm not saying that you get what I'm saying, right? Like you are here for a reason, right? So if you are experiencing headaches, some of the things that you can do is to add blackberries, blueberries, eggplant, purples to your diet. Red and blue makes purple, right? Red in the chakra system, when you're looking at it from the color perspective, red represents that root chakra, that stability. And then the blue represents not only the throat, so what you're speaking and creating, but also the third eye or the first eye, right? Different colors, blues, but in the same family. And then purple represents the crown. So it's all the way up the spectrum to the color purple and beyond, to that space and place of enlightenment, that internal light, turning on your internal light, right? Because right now you are being called to be a lighthouse for which the energy of the new earth can be moored and anchored into, right? Because you have sought to balance that energy within yourself from a divine perspective, right? Not the egoic perspective that is falling apart and crumbling, but from that divine perspective, so that people can actually look to you for guidance. They can look to you to light their way home, to show them the way home. Do you see what I'm saying? As they come to you and they anchor in their own truth, and they're able to build from there. Do you see what I'm saying? But it's you taking the time to tell your story. It's you taking the time to make that video. It's you taking the time to do whatever gift, skill, and ability that you have been divinely instilled with, to be able to really help to do that. It's just you being you, right? You being you without the fear, you being you without the guilt and without the shame and without all of those things that keep us cycling, that have kept, we let it go, that have kept us before cycling through these same patterns and traumas again and again. But because you have chosen to harmonize the red and the blue within you, in order to build your crown, to put your crown back on your head, you are now able to walk in that manifestation that you see by becoming the conscious creator of your own reality. Because from the root to the seat of the creation, so from the seed point, right? From that seed point to that place of creation, to the solar power and the willpower, right? To the heart, from the overflow of the heart, allowing the mouth to speak that truth, right? And I'm not talking about truth like from the perspective, I'm talking about truth as truth, right? Then being able to see with your first eye, to see clearly, because now you're able to trust your internal guidance system, because it's not being distorted by fear and by guilt and by shame and these false narratives and all of these things, but you're actually being able to be guided with your own internal light and darkness, right? Coming together to light the way. Do you understand? And so all of the tools that you have been collecting and developing and all of these things that you've been doing over the last 5 years, your time is now. Your time is now. And for all of you who have been on this journey with me, thank you so much. Thank you to each and every person who's been on this journey with me at every level, at every phase. I say thank you. To the 99 subscribers that I have or had as of today when I first logged in, thank you. To the 15 subscribers on my Relationship Oracle page, thank you. To my legal clients, thank you. To my friends, thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you have poured into me, all of the ways that you've allowed me to show up as myself, right? Thank you for preparing me to receive, right? Thank you for being allowing me to give, but also allowing me to receive. Thank you. Thank you for being. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for those who are a lighthouse to me. Thank you to each and every one of you. And y'all, it's hot. It's good, but it is hot. And so, the other thing, I made a video the other day too about purslane. Purslane, for those of you who have dealt with any sort of, I gotta, y'all know I don't know how to flip this thing around when I do this. But in any event, purslane. So I'm gonna put a picture of the purslane plant up here when I post this video. So making sure that you're adding things like succulents to your diet. So like aloe, purslane, okra. Those are all different sorts of plants that will help to restore the succulents within your own energy field. Okay? I gotta go get some water, y'all. But listen, I love you to wholeness. And until next time, love yourself well. You deserve it.